You wanted the best? Fender just made them. Today we're talking about the Ultra 2. The American Ultra 2 features premium materials, precision craftsmanship, and cutting-edge design for instruments that both advance the state of the art and stand the test of time. With stunning finishes, sculpted body contours, a modern D-shaped neck, and refined noiseless pickups, the Ultra 2 takes Fender to a whole new level of modern guitar design. Okay, we're here with our old pal Heli Lanz from Fender. Heli, what is new with the Ultra 2?
There's a lot of things that are new on these instruments. First of all, you're going to notice the colors. Fender has a long history of taking automotive finishes or colors off of sports cars and put them on guitars. If it's fast on the road, it's going to feel fast on your guitar. So I'm holding a Sinister Red. You've got Solar Flare. Noble Blue is on the wall behind us. A couple that stuck around.
Yeah, Ultra Burst. Texas T, the telly over there, and then an Avalanche was like a white kind of a matching.
We don't have one of those here, but it's white with a little bit of flake to it, so it looks really nice in the stage lights. Other things that you get on these guitars is a modern D-shaped neck. The only place to get that modern D-shape is on an Ultra, on our Ultra 2.
These are quarter sawn too, right?
Quarter sawn maple necks, that's right. And so that's a feature normally only reserved for something like a custom shop instrument. So it's just how they slice the maple up, basically, and how many pieces they can get out of each piece of wood, or how many necks they can get out of each piece of wood. But they're more stable, should require less seasonal adjustments over time. You've got, on the neck as well, you've got lumen-lay side dots. So for those of you who are hip to it and perform on stage, that's the kind of feature that as the lights go down, these are going to glow a little bit to help you find your place on stage. They will react to black light or UV light. And then, we've also got anodized aluminum guards, which is a change. These are actually not like the vintage anodized aluminum guards that we put on, vintage reissue instruments. This is kind of a new anodized aluminum guard, which has a soft feel to it. As we move on to the other controls on the Telecaster, it has an angled pickup selector, which is a little more ergonomic for the player. The knobs themselves are ultra knurled. So these actually have a larger knurl, which allows you to kind of get your finger on it and move it a little easier. There's S1 switching on all these instruments. So on the Strat that you're holding, that's going to give you access to the neck pickup in positions 1 and 2, right? On the Telecaster, the S1 switch is going to give you either series or parallel when you've got both pickups engaged. On the humbucking guitars, it's basically going to switch you out of a full humbucker into a split coil or a single coil response on those instruments.
And this is the newly voiced, like the Haymaker. That's new for the Ultra 2.
Haymaker's from our in-house pickup guru, Tim Shaw. And it's a hot pickup that's going to give you kind of everything. Sparkling cleans and lots of great overdrive response. And then, the new Ultra 2 voiced noiseless pickups from Fender.
And the board, so we got maple guitars, but these are ebony now instead of...
Ebony fingerboard instead of rosewood, that's right, And I mean, you can see it's got locking tuning machines up there. It's got the contours, to make it more comfortable on the body. Sculpted heel design to give you access to the upper frets if you're somebody who plays above the 12th fret, lots of soloing. So compound radius fingerboards and a sculpted heel makes all of that really, really easy.
Well, they feel great, they look cool. Let's plug them in, let's hear how they sound. First, let's talk about the new Tone Master 59 Bassman. All right, this platform I've always liked. I think it's super cool, they sound great, they look cool. But this I'm particularly interested in. It's a bunch of cool features. I mean, all the great stuff about power attenuation and effects loop.
I mean, a 59 Bassman is kind of the grandfather of all tube amps. Right. It's one of my favorite Fender platforms. I mean, they operate in 4 ohms. There's a lot of bark out of this amp, but the Tone Master series kind of solves for all of the things that, if you're a Bassman player and you love gigging with that amp and moving around with it, we solve for most of the problems that people would complain about a Bassman. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, the ability to attenuate. So a Bassman's a big, loud amp.
45 watts, man.
45 watts, so you can attenuate all the way down to a half a watt. The other thing that we've got on this amplifier, which a regular Bassman's not supposed to have, because remember, it was designed for bass players. Right. It's got reverb and an effects loop, which is incredibly useful when you're using this thing in a band environment.
Well, and even though they've got these really resonant pine cabinets, These clock in at like 20 pounds less than the tube version, so it's a little easier.
It does. It's got the impulse response dedicated outs on the back of the amp too, so when you get to the gig, instead of putting a mic in front of the thing, you can just plug in and choose one of 3 options. Fender's basically giving you the choice between a couple of different types of mics and where they're placed on the cab. And it's that impulse response technology that Fender spent a lot of time mapping these things out. So this thing's going to recreate the sound of a vintage or reissue Bassman perfectly on stage every time, up to and including really low volumes.
Well, it's got 4 inputs for the 2 channels. You can jump the channels and use both of the volume knobs and blend them together.
My favorite things about a Bassman is jumping those channels.
Yeah, that's where the magic is. Well, or even more magic. All right, look, let's fire it up, man. Well, there you have it, the new Fender Ultra 2. Check it out for yourself at 5 Star Guitars or 24/7 at 5starguitars.com.